Hi everyone, welcome to Sticks and Stones Wood Carving. I'm Kevin, and today we're going to cover a couple other tools that we need for wood carving. But before I start, I'd like to say again, I say it in every video, if you've never been to this channel, please consider subscribing. We're all about teaching you wood carving here on this channel, and we explain the tools that you're going to need. We show videos, and actually this summer we're going to be doing some live events where you can carve with me, one-on-one, ask me questions, and learn face to face, which is going to be real fun and interesting. So if you think you'd like something like that, hit the subscribe button and we'll get right into this video. Now, a lot of things we're going to need in wood carving aren't just carving tools. For instance, when we're going to be chainsaw carving this year, we're going to be using other tools, electric tools. We use a lot of grinders, right? We use die grinders. We use 4.5-inch grinders like this one here. And I'm going to give you a recommendation or two on those, because a lot of people don't know what tools you should actually start with when you wood carve. Chainsaw carving is a whole different world than regular carving, all right, with hand tools. So, for instance, this right here is a picture of the grinder I use. It's a DeWalt 4.5-inch angle grinder, all right. I like the paddle switch, and I have the regular slide switches. Now, the slide switches are nice. They lock in place. Paddle switches you can lock too. But the problem with the slide switch on a lot of them is I've had those things lock, you lock it and it just keeps running, right? Then you bump the carving a little bit or anything goes wrong and it falls out of your hand and that thing goes skipping across the ground. It almost bit my ankle one time pretty good because it just fell out of my hand when I was carving. I hit a branch just enough that it knocked it out of my hand while it was running, and that sucker just went skipping across the ground and started chasing me, and I got out of the way just in the nick of time. And why I like the paddle switch one is you take your hand off the paddle, if it's not locked in place, the grinder shuts off. That simple. And the thing with these grinders is you can use these for metal or wood. And I use mine a lot after I chainsaw carve to shape the carving a little bit, and I'll put another tool on that I use on this grinder, right? But today's about the grinder here. We're going to discuss a little more, and then we'll go into the discs we use on it. Like I said, you can use this for metal or wood. And this particular grinder is very good. It's very strong. All right. If you're a welder, you might like to use this grinder. But for wood carving, this is the one I use because it's got definitely got a lot of power. All right. Now, if you've gone through a few cheaper angle grinders like me, you know what I mean. The Harbor Freight ones. Yeah, you might as well step up to the plate and buy a worthy tool because those things, I've had those things burn up on me. You're just always going out and getting more. Yeah, they're cheap, but this one cuts through the competition like it's butter. It also has extra amperage, which makes this thing chew through metal or wood. If you do put the right disc on it, especially for wood. It's built very well. Has a low vibration. It's a powerhouse of a tool. The guard's adjustable, so you can rotate it wherever you need it. It can remain, you can keep working safe without taking it off and trying to get into those areas that you can never reach. You know, uh, this thing goes above and beyond what it's designed to do, and I'm sure you guys are going to love it if you do pick one up, right? Especially if you've been using the cheaper ones on the market. Like I said, I've seen many of them burn up or melt the cords right off. I had my leg almost catch on fire one time from one of them. You work them a little bit too hard, and that's it. You have to go get another one, or they burn up right in your hand. Right? They're very unsafe and sometimes even scary. This thing takes quite a while before it heats up. So it's a big plus because when you're doing it for carving, you use it and you can use it a lot when you're doing a big log. It's also very easy to change the wheels with the thumb lock on it. So I never really worry about my DeWalt. It's a monster of a grinder. It's more than enough for what I need and what most people need. All right, very well constructed, very strong. It's got, if you use the metal cut-off wheels, it has no problem cutting through like 1/4-inch steel. It's a little bit heavy for a 4.5-inch grinder, but the power that it has really makes up for it, right? I think it's absolutely one of the better grinders on the market compared to the other DeWalt grinders too, even. You know, I have, I think, 3 DeWalt grinders. All 3 are great tools, but this one's my favorite, right? And yes, it is made in the USA. Okay, so that's the DeWalt grinder. I'll put a link in the description if you'd like it. This thing also has a dust ejection system. It ejects the dust and debris and stuff away from you. It's got the touch guard on it, 2-position slide, handle wrench. The tool length itself, I think, is 12 inches. The wheel diameter, 4.5. Spindle size is 5/8. All right, by 11 inches. It's 11 amps, like I said. So this thing, I think it rips at like 11,000 RPMs. So it provides a lot of power. All right. Now, what you would use on this grinder for wood carving anyway, I prefer Kutzel discs, and you can buy these things in fine grit. You can buy them in medium. You can buy them in heavy. All right. These things are your shaping wheels. They go right on the 4.5-inch grinder, and they can rip some wood off. All right. So I'll do a carving and say it's not rounded, it's not flat in spots. So I have to dig a little wherever. It really takes the carving down. All right, especially when you put it on one of these grinders, and you can just go all over that carving and shape them round and do whatever you want with it. So these discs are what I recommend to put on this grinder for wood carving. All right, so when you're doing big projects and you really got to tear some wood off, this is where you go. Get that 4.5-inch grinder out, you put your Kutzel disc on, and bam. And I'll put some links for those, and you guys can see how these things work. All right. You know what? Let me just show you how these things work. Right here in this video, remember the walking stick video I did? Well, they also work just to take the bark off of sticks. If you're doing walking sticks, for instance, in this video, it was my walking stick video I have here on YouTube, how to carve a walking stick with multiple faces. And I use this actual disc, and I believe one of my DeWalts, to take the bark off of the stick instead of peeling it with a knife or whatever. You can see how this thing just chews the wood right off the bark, leaves a nice smooth finish. And again, you can use these discs. You can use medium grit, fine grit, or you could use a heavier grit on these discs, and they'll take the wood right off. So I use them a lot for that too. Makes a nice clean carving surface, and then you just go to town and do your carving afterwards. It's a lot easier way to get wood off on projects like this. Very fast, very efficient. And again, when you have a bigger carving and you want to shape it, you really can't beat these wheels, all right, these discs. So that again is what the Kutzel disc does, and that's what we usually put on. Well, I put on the DeWalt. All right. So both of them together make a great combination, and that's why I'm making this video, because a lot of people ask me about these things. So I figured I'm really going to take the time and go through every kind of tool that I think you guys would be interested in that you can use, because everyone's confused about how to get the wood off. And that's the main thing with carving, is you have to get the wood off and shape your project before you actually put your details on and get your carving done. But most of it is shaping in the beginning and getting wood off. These are the things that help. These are the things that make a huge difference, right? When you're starting and doing any kind of carving project, whether it's big or small, right? There's a tool for everything, and the more tools you have, the easier it makes the job and a lot less aggravating. If we're going to start chainsaw carving especially, you'll see me go to my grinder a lot, all right? And it's also another tool you're going to need if you want to get into carving some of the bigger things. Now, the whole idea is to do everything with the chainsaw and not have to touch a grinder. But trust me, sooner or later, you're going to want to get in some spots you just can't get with the chainsaw. You don't have the control or whatever, and this thing's going to be a godsend to you. What's really very, very cool, I thought, about the way you clean these discs, because they get gummed up when you're working after a while. They're so tough, you just take a blowtorch and you just burn the disc. You burn all the wood and the gunk, sap, whatever you're using. If you're carving pine, for instance, it saps up some, and gets in the teeth. You just burn it with your torch, and then you take a wire brush and you brush it right off. Doesn't hurt the wheel at all. It's unbelievable. And these things last forever. I've been using the same one on this grinder now for, I think, over 2 years. And it still just rips wood off. you know. So they're a little bit expensive when you first buy them. I think they average around $60, something like that. Depends on which one you're getting. But one wheel, I literally have done hundreds of carvings, you know, and I'm still using the same wheel, you know. So that's what I recommend on a DeWalt grinder or any 4.5 inch grinder. They do fit on any 4.5 inch grinder. I prefer the DeWalt. That's why I'm recommending it here. But that's the Quetzal discs, and that's how you clean them. So it's another tool I recommend in this series of covering some of the things we're going to need. And I'll put the links in the description. Like I say, if you go, they are Amazon links. If you go to one of those links and you do happen to want one and you pick it up through my link, yes, I get a little bit of a commission from Amazon. It does help support the channel. I really appreciate it. So please be sure to support our sponsors and stuff. And that helps out the channel a lot and me. Okay, so I will get to the next video, and we'll be posting that maybe today, maybe tomorrow. I'm going to try and at least get one video every day or every other day and start really posting a lot of information for you guys. And hopefully the weather will get a little warmer and we'll start carving really soon again. Till then, I will see you to the next video. Thank you for watching.